Hey guys, at JJ Coder here with a final loan roundup for 2025. A bit of a longer one because we've had quite a few games over this period, so let's get straight into it.
You came along just like a song and brightened my day. Who'd have believed that you were part of a dream? Now it all seems like years away. You know I can't smile without you. I can't smile without you. I can't laugh, I can't sing. I'm finding it hard to do anything, and I feel sad when you're sad. I feel glad when you're glad. If you only knew what I'm going through, I just can't smile without you.
Alfie Devine played 2 games over this period. He was a 72nd minute sub in their 0-0 draw with Stoke, and then played the full game in their 2-1 loss to Wrexham and actually scored in that game. So, I think he as I've said, he's doing well. I think it'll be interesting to see what Tottenham do. Obviously I know that he's there for the season, but he's adding value. He is. I think, obviously, there was always talk that potentially Preston might be able to make it permanent for 5. We'll see. I think there could be an option to make that more than that. But we'll have to wait and see. I thought we'd maybe get more for Brennan Johnson, but who knows? You've then got Will Lancashire becoming a bit of a sub at Oxford. Obviously, there's a bit of turmoil with the fact that Gary Rowett has gone and now Craig Short's there. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. In the first game, he played in both games, but as subs. The first one, it was a 2-1 win against Southampton. And he actually got an assist in that game. In the second game, he was a 66th minute sub in the 1-0 loss to Swansea. So it's a tough one for him because, whether it be 75th minute in the first game or 66th minute in the second, I don't know if he's getting enough time to, in terms of on the pitch to reach a target that Spurs have set out. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Some really good news in terms of George Abbott. Obviously, he wasn't in the squad for the first game that Wickham played, but was close to return and actually came on as a 77th minute sub in Wickham's 1-1 draw with Plymouth. So it's good that he's now back on the grass. It's good that he's playing minutes. Hopefully he can play more and more and get back to the progression that we were seeing with him. So fingers crossed with that one. We've got Yang Min Hyuk, played both games as a sub. He was a 85th minute sub in Portsmouth's 1-1 draw against QPR. And then he was a 64th minute sub in their 2-1 win against Charlton and actually scored with literally the last kick of the game. If you haven't seen it, you've definitely got to go and give that a watch. It was a cracking goal just literally after Charlton thought they'd snatched a draw. So I know there's obviously rumours that he might be going to a higher level. I hope so. I hope whether it be German, Italian, I don't know if he's been getting as much as he should do at Portsmouth. But we'll have to wait and see with regards to that. So then we move on to Ashley Phillips. For him, it was a bit of a mixed bag over the 2 games. He played the full game. He played both full games in both games, both full minutes in both games. In the first one, it was a 0-0 draw against Preston. So obviously that was a clean sheet for him, which was good. Not so good in the second game where Stoke lost 2-1 to Sheffield United. And obviously that's a resurgence, Sheffield United. Now they've got Chris Wilder there. So, when it comes to that, I think that's sort of his level. I've said it before. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him. I think he'll see the season out of Stoke Whether they make it permanent or not, I don't know, because I don't think Tottenham are going to want another loan. I think they're going to want to try and cash in now. I don't think he's reached that level, and I can't see it. I can't. So I think it might be a sale with a sell-on clause. Who knows with regards to him. Nothing to mention on Luka Vuskovic, because obviously Germany has a break over this time. His next game's not until the 10th of Jan. Got to mention Jamie Donnelly. I know there was a rumour going around that he might be being linked with Bolton. I don't think that's appropriate, if I'm honest. He's done League One football. Championship is where he should be, or maybe abroad. I think the difficulty that he's had is the fact that he just hasn't been given the opportunity, whether it be suspensions, injuries, things like that. Mark Robbins just does not rate him, and it's a shame because he's one of the top players for Northern Ireland. So I think it's a case of that he needs to be looked at in terms of something soon. I'm hoping that this is what they're talking about now to try and look at further from there. Similar position with Manor Solomon. Obviously, his next game for Villarreal isn't till the 3rd of January. Be interesting to see what happens with him, because I think we were hoping he was going to get more minutes. I know it was a last minute thing going there, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see with regards to that. My feeling is that I don't think he will see out the season with Hamburg. Hamburg, I'm thinking of Vuskovic, Villarreal. I think that for them, it will be a case of that they will, perhaps maybe look at bringing that forward to move him somewhere else. Maybe Championship. He did well for Leeds, and again, maybe that might be revisited. I don't know, but I'd be surprised if he is still there with regards to it. But he hasn't had a game yet, so obviously, we'll have to see how that sort of develops with regards to him. Demola Ajay, not in the squad for either game. I just hope he's pulled. He should be pulled in a couple of days. It's clear he's not going to get the game time, not even getting the squad. It's just a waste of his development. Get him out of there. Get him. To me, I would personally maybe look at something similar to a Notts County or someone like that, where we've had Tyrese Hall, and give him an opportunity to get some minutes. But I'm hoping that will happen. Mikey Moore played both games. He was a 56th minute sub in Rangers 1-0 win against Motherwell, and then he played 69 minutes in their 2-1 win against St Mirren. He's getting a lot of minutes under Danny Roll, which I think is good, and hopefully can become a real figure point. I think I'd like to see him finish the season there. I think it would be a shame for him to go anywhere else with regards to that. But we'll have to wait and see. And then Alfie Dorrington was not in the squad for the Dundee game and was an unused sub against Hibernian. I mean, if we just sort of summarise, I think if I was Tottenham, and I'm looking at players that I think you need to pull out of the clubs they're in and put somewhere else, he'd be one of them. I would also take out Ajay, Solomon, Donnelly, possibly Hyuk. I think that's just being looked at from the club's perspective anyway, but they're the main ones. There was one loan I didn't mention, which was Tyrese Hall, and the reason I didn't mention him is because he would be in the list of ones that would stay. He's getting good minutes. There, he was a 64th minute sub in their 2-0 loss against Chesterfield, but played 91 minutes in the 1-1 draw against MK Dons. Him, Mikey Moore, Vuskovic, Phillips, Abbott, and Devine, I think are all where they need to be in terms of their loans and potentially how they're going with it. So, and the one that I haven't put in any of those lists because I don't know because of the uncertainty at the club is Lancashire. You know, he needs to be playing regular minutes, you know, getting back on the goal trail. I mean, he is still their top scorer with 5 goals, but hasn't scored in a very long time, and he needs to find the back of the net soon. So obviously it's going to be interesting because in a couple of days the January window opens. I think we will see some movement with those players. I think we'll also see some other players go out on loan. I think we will see Dane Scarlett go on loan. I think we might see the Dragusin or Danzo go out on loan. You know, I think we'll see the Odebert or Tell. I know there's been talk of Palace showing interest in Tell on a loan. I think that would be good. I really do, you know, but we'll just have to wait and see with it. My feeling is that if I were to pick players that we've got that are in the squad that I think could be looking at loans, I'd probably say Kinski, Dragusin or Danzo. I'd then possibly say Tell, and yeah, that would be it, as well as Dane Scarlett. But let me know what you think. You know, as I say, there's been some good loans that we're seeing so far, bad loans, ugly loans, you know, and obviously, you know, Tottenham now have got to start getting these right, because we're seeing with other clubs where they're loaning out players and they're selling them for crazy money, you know, so we need to get into that sort of situation with regards to it. But let me know what you think. Give us a follow on Twitter at JJCoder. I'm also on Instagram as well, so the links will be added to this. But yeah, let us know what you think. You know, and I just wish everybody a happy new year and roll on what has to be a massive January transfer window. Come on, you Spurs.